And just like that, I played the wrong intro. That was the generic one, not the cool Cash Canada one. But whatever, we're here and we're live. There you go. Mistakes always happen in the la la land of TV and live broadcasting. And here we are with Cash Shadow. There he is right over there to my left.
There we go.
Welcome, Cash Shadow.
Good evening.
It's been so long.
I know, and here I am back in the other office doing
Wow. And we're
this
still in
again.
a pandemic. I can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah, so
Anyway.
it goes.
So we have a few people in the audience already. We have BK640N, BK73, which we met in the field and became one of our patrons, which was really cool. And we have Seaback Tribe, Lori C. Hello from Washington State. Oh, I can't wait. We're going to be there next year. Absolutely. Hello from York Region, Ontario. York. Awesome. And York in England is cool too. I've
Yes,
been
it
there.
is.
Yes. Did you walk on the wall, the old thing wall, whatever?
I did
And
indeed.
Hadrian's Tower or whatever was it? Hadrian's Tower?
Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall?
It's not
No, and it's the tower. There's a tower there. Big somebody.
of school
1066
trips.
guys.
We used to
Yeah.
get dragged around things, and you would just say yes, yes,
Okay.
teach. Can we go
All
back
right.
to the bus and have sandwiches
Okay.
now?
We were on top of that big tower that's there, and the group that we were with was geocachers. It was a geocaching trip, and a storm was coming in, and we could see it. Nobody else could, and we knew it was coming. But we already had planned a place to go for dinner. It was the White Whistle. No, not anyway. The White. Oh, the Thistle, the White Thistle, very very old Scottish restaurant. It was amazing, and we were able to get there because we saw the storm coming. We knew where to go. Everybody else dashed into whatever nearest place there was, and they got stuck there for an hour. So we got stuck in a place that was like over 1,500 years old, and it was
Oh,
awesome.
shucks.
And the floor wasn't straight, and the food was awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us again.
Welcome.
So
It's wonderful to be here. It's nice to see all the names pop up in the comment
yeah,
list there.
yeah, Dave Ferris is here, Annie M, Cash the Line, hey oh, and Aber Joe, and we've got Janet Yu, Jackie May. Wow, my geocaching name is Oakwolf. Oakwolf? Oakwolf. Is that an A? Can't read. Need my glasses. Gary Robertson, hello from Surrey, BC. Hello, Surrey, BC. I hope you're not flooded away and drowning.
Yeah.
Surrey, are they near the flooding waters? I don't know.
So
I think
close
they're
out. We have Arnie
downstream.
in here too. Hey, Arnie.
Arnie, hey. Yeah, he was, we were chatting earlier today. Hello, Arnie. Glad you could join us. He asked me for the link, and I'm like, oh, he better show up.
Now I'm worried.
Yes. He's going to be in my region tomorrow. He's going to be doing a brand new Earth cache that is uh, amazing for our region, a 4.5, 2.5 Earth cache. And this one is not for the faint of heart for Earth caches. It does take a lot of work. And I think there's something like 7 locations you have to go to. And there's a bit of math involved. So that's going to be my weak point. And I'm going to be glad to have Lyriclass with me on that one. So, and I don't have a 4.5, 2.5 Earth cache. So that's going to be pretty cool. I don't going to get it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going out with the Sparks crew to a local place that's called, what is it? Fingal. Used to be an Air Force base. We did a video on it once, or had it in a video on our North Shore series. Charles M., how are you? Gary Robertson, yes, we are about, oh, here we go, we can add that. We are about a half an hour west of the flooding. Geo Woodstock site is above the flooding, no problem there. It's being used as an evacuation center. Well, very cool. Awesome. I was evacuated once when I was in Disney World. We had to sleep in a gym, no, yeah, it was a big building that they used for the uh, conventions and stuff like that. We slept on beach chairs. It was kind of fun. It was in a hurricane, and the hurricane never hit. It hit the coast and went up. Done. Anyway, we were there for 2 weeks, so it was nice to have a rest. Anyhow, there we go. It's your show, sir. This is Cash Shadow. Ask a question, you'll get an answer. It might not be the right one. It might be somewhat relevant to the questions to hear. So there you
Albatross.
go.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
there you go. Could be anything. So,
Yeah. So there you go, folks. So same as usual. Please put them in the comments if you have questions.
yep.
Specific cache reviews we don't normally talk about because those are between you and your reviewer, and we all play nice and fair. So remember, player issues are with HQ, not necessarily with reviewers. So let's
So
see
I
what we've
have
got.
one. I have one that we can. Here we go. This is Cache Canada Chats Return of Cache Shadow. It has been a while. I think we've had Dougie B on talking about Cache Tour 3 or 4 times since the last time you were here. So I have a teaser question to start off with. So this is just to get the ball rolling, and it says all challenge caches must have. They have to a checker. Is that true or false?
So what do people
So
think?
yeah. So there you go.
So
Oh, Roger says 42 is the answer. You're right. Yes, 42. Teresa says hello, Cache Shadow.
hello. So should challenge caches all have a challenge checker? Is that a true or false? False there, folks.
Do they have to have one?
The
So
absolute.
if I go on and I pick any challenge cache that's out there, it's a new one, it's an old one, it must have a checker on it. Is that true or not?
If it's a new one, so published since 2016, then it will need a Project GC challenge checker.
Correct.
Grandfather challenges do not require the checker. Some of them do have it indeed, but yes, all new ones will have to have a checker, and it needs to be unique for your GC code. So if you happen to see somebody else's checker that's out there on Project GC, you can't just copy and paste their link and use it for yours. You have to get it adjusted or cloned for your GC code. And so if you do submit a challenge cache, along with all of the other complications of challenge caches, make sure you've got your challenge checker and make sure it's unique to your challenge.
Charles M. Kantai says, and he's one of our patrons, he says yes and no. And that is
See?
kind of true. It's not a definite true or false question. Excellent. Well done. Now we'll take questions from the audience. Still got to have some burning questions. I know they do.
Oh, here we go. Gary's got one.
Oh, I'm missing it. Where are we? I didn't see it.
So he says, just checking, having a New
Oh,
Year's
that.
event
Yes, got it. There we go.
and a celebration event at the same event. People get both souvenirs, right? They should. So logging the individual cache should kick in, and also having it on that date, because it does qualify as a find or an attend. You should get it as well. So yes would be the answer.
Wow, 2 for the price of 1.
2 for the price of 1.
Nice.
And the time zone thing. So make sure I'm sure that HQ have made some improvements over the years with timing, with use mobile app, etc., to get it correct. But just be mindful to log your thing on December 31st, just in case. It'll make your life easier. I'm sure it'll be fine either way, but...
Here's a question. Here's something, a comment. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get to Janet's question. Oh, geez. There we go. There are some older challenge caches I really wish had a checker on them. If not every one of them does, but I'm always looking for the ones. I don't see a checker. I go automatically into the comments, and I'm looking for somebody that posted used Project GC. And then you can click on that link, and it'll give you a checker from another source. And it's a lot of times somebody has made one for that, and there's the cache owner has not included the checker in the description, so you can get checker results. You just have to go looking for them. Yeah.
And with those results, so the older challenges, the ones prior to 2016, they may have said, please post your proof in a log, or they may have said, please provide a bookmark. Challenges since 2016, there was no longer that requirement. Cache owners, it's their job to use the checker. But if you do find a checker, chances are they're going to give you the answers for the older challenges. So there are also times where you simply letting the cache owner know, oh, by the way, there's a challenge checker for your challenge. They might want to add that to their page in a note. Who knows?
Yep. So Janet asked, should you let fellow cachers know if the cache is 13 meters or more from ground zero?
I would say that if you don't think the coordinates are accurate, it's always a good idea to let the cache owner know, because perhaps there have been multiple reports, or maybe as much as their coordinates may have been off that day, maybe your coordinates are off that day. So let the cache owner know. It lets them make the decision, lets them either go and check, lets them listen to other reports. But certainly it seems, 13 isn't too far away, but it's probably on the cusp of tap them on the shoulder. Anything past 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meters sometimes. Just let the cache owner know. It's better to share the info with them. Just send them a message.
Yep. How about a hint for your CO puzzle, 16 to 128? That must be one of yours.
So, yes, if it is one of my puzzles, but it's actually Angela's cache.
Ah.
So we had an arrangement where I wanted to put a puzzle, and she helped me out deftly. So I will tell you that 16 is base 16, and 128 is relevant, and there's 600 columns, and it's a 3-click solution.
I'm lost already.
Exactly. So GC9B351, it is literally a 3-button solution.
Wow.
With copy and paste.
There you go, folks. Look up that GC, solve that puzzle, go out and find it.
Yeah.
And Montana Treasure Hunter, I just wanted to say hello, has been recently posting comments on our videos, so that's very nice to see. We always love it. You know, if you're watching our videos, hey, post a comment. I love it when I see a name. I know people are watching, but not everybody comments. And I love it when somebody comments and it's like, wow, a new name. I love it. So
yeah,
we love
even just saying hello, right?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, just say love it, you know, whatever. Okay, there we go. BK649 and BK73. If we believe one of our trackables has been lost, what steps do we take to release or rescue it?
So if you think a trackable has been lost in the field, first thing you can do is you can go to the trackable record itself and you can click as the owner mark as lost. And just essentially you can let it be known it's not out there anymore. But you own that trackable code. It is yours. And if you wish to reuse it and put it on something else, there is nothing that prevents you from doing that. You may have complications, of course, where you release your proxy, as we refer to them, and then at a later date, the other one shows up. So there can be some complications, but you own the code. So you can find another object. You can get proxy tags, like replacement tags from your favorite caching vendors, which you can use as a substitute because you can write on them or you can get them stamped with the trackable code. But really, once you think it's gone, which happens with trackables, it's your decision on whether you sit back and wait, because I'm quite sure if we say how many people have had a trackable that come back to life 3, 4, 5 years later, I've had one came back to life a decade later. I could complicate things by putting another one out there. Certainly. It also depends on what you want with trackables. I still like the classic way of watching where they go. And when they disappear, that's how far they went. I like looking at the map to see where they've hopped along the way. Other folks just want their trackable to be seen by as many people as possible because they like to see the discover logs or the grab logs. Mm-hmm. They might be more apt to make a duplicate and send it out there as a proxy.
Yeah, I've released a few proxies that have gone missing, but I have never had one pop up. So now that I have 2 floating yet, that hasn't happened yet. Yeah. I've heard it has to happen.
It does. And to Gary, true.
True.
Yes.
You can find the GC code on Project GC as well if someone made one and tagged it. Yes.
That's another fun way.
Sometimes you can find a similar challenge that has a checker that you can use. Yes.
Yes. And it's a little hit and miss sometimes because even when people with new challenges get their checker created, you may not realize that what they've asked for in their challenge might be a tiny bit different from what the existing checker is looking for. So always be mindful that you kind of double check that it actually checks for what you're asking for.
Yep. As a reviewer, Seaback Tribe Lori C says, what has been your high and frustration? Your highs and your low frustrations. Your highs and lows.
I think being able to give people that wow, thank you moment, whether it's helping them get something published that they were having challenges with, or whether it's just being able to have someone come back and say, thank you for being like 1% of this cache experience for me. So the cache owner places this amazing cache. They've done all the work and they come back and say, thank you for publishing it. Like, I didn't do the work. They did the work. I read it and pressed a button. That's always been a plus. You just feel good being a part of it. But the flip side, the frustration is when you can't make everybody happy, and
Hmm.
it's just a reality of it. But there are times where you see something and you want it to work, but there are ways that prevent it from working. So as an example, you might have a situation where you've arranged to have a container placed and you've got permission, but there are multiple other caches nearby.
Hmm.
And the proximity issue crops up, that can become an issue. And you can't always make it work. So that can be challenging.
Yep.
But
So going back to this question about the 13 meters and letting your friends know your coordinates might be off, a 13 meters for nano in a hedge would be frustrating. Yep. A&K asks, is there a way to bring back the old list of finds on someone's public profile versus the new map-based version?
I think they've retired the code itself from the web pages, or they are going to.
Mm-hmm.
That changes across the board. So when, from my perspective, I see the changes happen on the website and things improve. They're more efficient, they're made more scalable, but sometimes the interface does change. And as an example is we used to click on a cache and we'd wait, all of us, for the logs to load. And sometimes if it was a very popular cache, that could take a long time. Now they've changed the site a few years ago, so it just scrolls in the first batch. And as you scroll down the page, it loads the next batch. So
Mm-hmm.
that took some getting used to, because you couldn't just hit the cache page, wait a few seconds, and do a find in your browser. Now you have to scroll down. But the flip side is how many times you actually do that. And now you don't have the other end, the servers and the resources churning out all this list of things that most people don't use. So that was an improvement in the site that led to a change in the interface. I think with the lists as well, they're just integrating and upgrading things. So yeah, there are a few views that I'm used to that I miss. But if something has been moved over, you have a little while where you say you can click on the legacy button, they let you flip back. I think the moment
Mm-hmm.
that that legacy option disappears, I think that's when they've retired the code.
Yeah.
And all good things, and it does improve things in some ways. But there are a few shortcuts I have that don't work the way they used to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm over it because I'm getting the benefits of the other things that works, like the maps work better than they did. So
Yeah. Yeah, and they add also I added some filters on my map, and now every time I open the map, those filters are applied as a default. How do I clear that and restore the actual defaults?
I think
Clicking reset
WD-40,
doesn't.
WD-40, I think is one of the things that you depending on how you angle it towards
Yep.
your browser, that may
Duct
affect it.
duct tape.
Well, duct tape is if you're still using like Safari.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think WD-40 would be the best way to look at resetting that, or reset your cookies and see if that works.
Mhm.
So sometimes you feel better after a good cookie toss.
Yep.
And other than that, then maybe it's a site bug. Try another machine, see if it's the same issue. Maybe someone should be tapped on the shoulder, HQ, and let them know. But
Hmm.
it's usually browser issues. I cannot reproduce it right now.
Yeah. I still use the most of the legacy pages, and so do I. I flip. Sometimes I flip back and forth. I find something on the new pages that I really like, but then I go back to the old. It's almost always set on the legacy pages.
We're we're all usually geared towards the familiar,
Yep.
and I've moaned and groaned and grumbled at things over the years. They're changing, but I can look back now at my moaning, groaning, grumbling emails and realize that I got over it pretty quick.
Hmm.
So it's just the older I get, maybe the more get off the lawn I might be becoming, but I'm certainly less offended by when my browser links
Yeah.
change than I used to be, which is a
Yeah.
surprise. Moving forward, right?
Charles says they'll let you try the WD-40 on your computer first.
Absolutely, it won't squeak.
So yeah, with the legacy pages, that's something I've been thinking about. Is occasionally in a video I might mention some way of finding things, like you searching for geocaches. Like, hey, I want to find all the waterfalls in Ontario, so you look up that. But I might show you the screen, but I'm like, oh, which way do I show it? The legacy way or a new way? Because they're before I mentioned my profile page, now you have two different versions to look at. Which one do you refer to? And it should be the new way. So I'm looking at that and going, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to learn what the new pages look like and what they can do and can't do. And by the way, the search feature I'm loving right now. To be able, you know how I had the little scale when you
Yeah.
wanted difficulty in terrain, you had to do the scale. That was a little frustrating. Now it's like, hey, I need a 1.5 terrain or 1.5 difficulty, and I need a 2, 2.5, and a 3, and I can isolate it to just that.
Yeah.
I'm loving.
That page is a prime example. When it first changed, my immediate response was, "Oh, I've got to learn something new. The muscle
Yeah.
memories. I've got to." But then, to your
Yep.
point, you used to drag those little bars and you over,
Yep.
and now I've used it enough that's seamless.
Yeah.
It There are things that perhaps aren't as efficient to my workflow because of, again, muscle memory. But if we look back at how new players join the game, that's the first leap they're going to have. They're going to see that new interface. So I would encourage folks to kind of bite the bullet and try and use the new interfaces as much as possible. 'Cause at least you have a greater chance of it being there longer, because
Mm-hmm.
who says that that new interface is not going to be the old interface and replaced by something else one day when we've
Yep.
got our mind implants?
When you're bored, give it a try.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go. Another true or false. Lighters, matches, bullets should not be placed in cash containers. Come on, folks. I've seen a bullet or two.
Well, you've got those ammo cans, right?
Yeah, that's what they're
Everybody
built
says
for.
an ammo can cache is good.
Yeah.
Isn't
There you
isn't
go.
isn't an easy answer? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you probably shouldn't put ordnance inside a
No.
cache. Various things that
True.
that one should not put in caches. So we've got the
There
list.
you go.
There's a page in the guidelines where it says you shouldn't put scented items in there, shouldn't put food items in there.
Yeah.
That includes chapstick. I'm amazed the number of caches I found with chapstick, and sometimes the chapstick is new.
Mm-hmm.
Matches, again, lighters, anything of a not
Blow
family-friendly nature.
blow bubbles.
Yeah,
Scent,
yeah, anything
scented stuff.
scented. Um, a lot of folks will use the classic term for the peanut butter jar and wash from the dishwasher, but I can tell you, you could probably put those things in some huge industrial cleaning thing, and there's still some squirrel that will find them.
Yep.
So if they do find it, we'd rather them not to be armed,
Yeah.
because nobody wants a squirrel with ammunition.
You can clean the heck out of something, and it's still animals are gonna scent it.
Yep.
So
And even some folks have problems where they'll find a cache and they'll find something and they'll say this shouldn't be in there. Well, it's not always caches that put things in containers. We've had several examples of where muggles find caches and decide to leave something behind, and it's not always part of the game. So don't immediately assume it's the previous finders or the cache owner who left something questionable in the cache. It happens.
mm-hmm. What about the right to arm bears?
Yes.
Well, thanks, Gary. I feel better already. I'm glad I'm done the geocache bear challenge run up in Kelowna. I won't have to worry about getting fired at by some ornery bear.
Only once.
Sorry, I'm late. You're never late. You're
Oh,
right on time.
absolutely.
There we go. Good to have you with us.
See, Janet says we found food in the container, candies.
Candies.
There's two sides to that, right? You're walking
Yep.
through the woods, you find a container that's been outside for who knows how long, and you find food in it, and your immediate thought is, I'm going to eat that. So you reverse the thinking to the person who leaves it behind, thinking, that's nice of them to think, someone's going to want to eat this. So we just avoid it entirely by just not having edible items inside.
Yeah, I found I think a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Mm.
A double, two, and it was not opened, and it looked fresh. And I'm thinking, well, how long ago was it put there? And is it good to eat? Is it still fresh?
It's like a forbidden donut. I found a
Oh,
toothbrush in a sealed container, like the dentist hand
Yep.
out toothbrushes. I found one in a cache before, and I thought about going, well, you could use it as a tool. You could clean things with it, so then maybe that's not so bad. But at least it was new.
Mm-hmm. Did you respond to my Facebook comment? Okay, I have to look this up. I think she left the comment on. She made a comment about here. I'll copy it. Um, okay, this is quite long. Oops. Okay, I just got it. There we go. That was quick. Amazing. Okay, I just have to create a banner. Create a banner. Put the comment in there. Paste. Enter. And show. There we go. She was struggling with the integration of a GIF for a special Christmas cache, and Cache Shadow helped me to work it out. I'm trying for a year without success. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And that's the site has changed for security reasons and privacy reasons. Is that it used to be you could have a cache page and you could link to an image, a photo, a GIF, an animated GIF, animated GIF. See both flavors on other websites, and you could put that inside your cache listing. HQ have altered the way in which images are hosted, so there are a list of approved hosting providers, and it's all to do with tracking and cookies and I don't know, clandestine stuff. So it's not as easy nowadays to just find animated GIF and put it on your page. So there's a couple of ways you can do it with Dropbox and Google Drive. And so sometimes when you put it in your cache page, it looks like it works wonderfully, and then you preview it and your Santa is and somewhat non-animated. So there is a few pages in the help guide that should assist, but if not, you can usually check in the forums. But yeah, happy to help.
I've never had luck putting a GIF on any page. It's always a picture.
Have you tried putting a GIF on one?
Yeah,
Okay.
never. I've tried a couple times, but I always get a picture, and I haven't got the time to figure it out. Did I eat the Reese's cup? No, I did not.
I put it in my cache.
I put it in my pocket though, and it went somewhere else. But it did not go in my orifice there to eat and taste. Although I wanted to, God, it would have been great. We have another offline question. I'm going to add. Okay, we're going to get rid of the. We're going to change this one. Here we go.
Andy Dave.
Yes, Dave. It's another one of our patrons, way down in Texas. Okay, here we go. This one is on Facebook as well. Did I do that right? No. Okay, hang on. I didn't do something right. There we go. Can I do that? Enter. There we go. Okay. Julian Bertrand, my question is, if I want to do a temporary cache, but one of my other caches is in the radius, can we do a temporary retract listing on the cache that is in the way?
No. So caches should not be temporary. So that's the first answer. If a cache is not going to be in the game for, we call it cache permanence, let's just throw out 3 months. It's not going to be published. And if somebody puts one out and archives it very quickly, it will be noticed. If you have another cache nearby, if a cache is archived, it should be permanent. Let's put it that way. Retraction, that will occur usually if there's an oops. It's somewhere along the line. An oops can usually, as a reviewer, oops. It can be someone wanted it published on a certain date, but they hadn't mentioned the date. Reviewer publishes it and then realizes it. And they retract or they unpublish it. But that normally occurs before there have been any fines. If you think about if you unpublish a cache and you found it, what happens to your fines? So we don't unpublish found caches, technically. So short answer is no, there shouldn't be temporary caches, which alleviates us of worrying about the archiving.
I'm glad you mentioned the length of time, like long term, and then you mentioned 3 months, because the cache guidelines mean they pretty much say for a long time, like put it down there and just leave it forever. But there are many series, and I think of one, like I know in Michigan, they do a winter series that is only available from, I think, either November or January to the end of March, and then they archive them at the end of the year. And then Henderson Park in southwestern Ontario, they do it's a 1 year series, so they put them out, then they archive them, and they put new out again. So there are short term.
In the guidelines, the main guideline page is temporary caches intended to stay active for fewer than 3 months will not
Mhm.
be published.
Yeah, okay. So 3 months is your minimum. All right.
Mhm.
Glenn Morey, another of our patrons, says, is there a way to have a puzzle cache continue to display at the solved coordinates after you have found it?
You could hit the corrected coordinates button and you could type in these solved coordinates, and then your posted coordinates icon would change to it, and you know where it is.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, because I've written notes and I don't know, it doesn't, you can't see it yourself. I don't know. Yeah, I've always have to go in, I always go into the edit and see where my actual coordinates are. So that's a good point. Okay, I never even thought of doing that. Huh. Yeah, I learn something new every day. Yeah, and Geraldine Berry, this is Royal Berries. That she was our second patron, and that's my mom. Hi, mom. Yeah, and there's Cash Line says good GIF,
GIF,
good
see?
GIF,
The GIF. You have to call them the
GIF,
GIFs.
GIFs. There you go. I have a real question, far
Below,
below
below that one.
below that one. Oh,
Yeah,
I did. Oh,
she
I
did
think
want to
I
talk
did.
about me being nice. She has a natural question.
Oh no, was
Please
did I
refer
not?
back to the other source.
My other, I don't know. Did I get that one? No. Wait, right? No. I have other questions. I don't know. I must have lost it. If she had another, I only have 2 comments listed there.
If you have it there, post it into the comment list here.
Yeah, oh, I did.
Carnivore? No, not you.
Yeah.
Carnivora.
Oh, her. Yeah. Yeah. Find the question that you posted and copy it and put it into the thing. There we go. Hide. Okay. I put my images in the gallery first, then add it. That's what I do. Yes. Yeah. Upload an image and then copy the URL for that and put that in as whatever it's needed. Then boom, it's there.
Try that with an animated GIF.
Doesn't work, right? No. And that's why it doesn't work for me. That's why I haven't been able to do it. Anyway, new comments. Oh, we have much more new comments. We got lots of smiles. That's my big smile. I don't smile often, but there you go. You better like it when you get it. Oh, it should be December. Oh,
That would
there we
be a
go.
temporary cache. That would
And
be
that would be no.
new.
Right. You could make it a long-term Christmas. Just stretch it out.
Yeah, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, there you go. Okay, what advice would you give a person who is setting up a cache page and possible notes to a reviewer?
You could include links to Bitcoin or providing other methods of payment to the reviewer in your reviewer note. It's probably frowned upon typically. So usually put as much information that you think you have within reason in your reviewer note. So let the reviewer know what the container is, how you've hidden it, where it's hidden specifically, in what manner. That's always a good thing to do. The size of the container, that's wonderful. If you provide the information, it saves them from asking, which should speed up the review. If you have, for a puzzle, if you have a puzzle in your cache page, then make sure you explain to the viewer how it's solved. That's another one of the elements in the guidelines. It says that thou shalt explain how your puzzle is solved. Just provide as much as you can so that what's in your cache page listing, because not always needs to be forthcoming to the finders, because that could be part of the fun, but your reviewer needs to know the situation. So reviewer notes, when you submit your cache for review, give as much as you can. As far as in the cache page itself, what's the adventure people are going to enjoy when they're finding your cache? Is the adventure getting to the location of the cache? Is the adventure, once you've got to the cache, it's the cache itself? Provide as much as you want to build it up. Make that cache pop out a bit if you can. And certainly there might be the surprise of being there. That is the real win with your cache. But let people know. Make sure there's attributes. Make sure your coordinates make sense. Make sure, and this is a big one, the dot on the map, does it look like where your cache is supposed to be? So when you've got your description and you say the cache is on the trail, just double check that your map shows it's on the trail and not in a parking lot of a shopping center. Because those little tiny things are details that you have control over prior to going to the reviewer for them to take a look. It just saves you time because it saves them from kicking it back. And the reviewer, that's what they're always doing. They're seeing each one of them, but there's a little extra kick in the gut when you get a disable note from a reviewer on your cache because you see it and you're like, oh, what's wrong now?
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yep.
more information you provide, maybe you'll just get that little nugget of information that lets them go, oh yeah, we're good to go. Got no questions here. So be as forthcoming as you can.
Yep. Gary says the Abbotsford Police Department puts out a series of caches for about 3 to 4 months every summer and then archives them in the fall. Wow, isn't that nice of them? Hmm. Do they pick them up or just archive them?
One would assume they picked them up. They're fine folks out there in Abbotsford.
Nice. And Carnivore 6 said, you responded. Thanks. Awesome. And Royal Berries asks, if a person is disabled, can they have someone else get the cache for them? Like power of, I guess. Oh, so I'm her power of attorney. Can I go get the cache for her? Because she can't go get it?
If someone is signing the log of the cache, that is definitely you're at the point where you're earning your fine. Question
Yep.
becomes is how did the person get to the log to sign the cache?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Now,
working on the
okay.
best way possible. So if you are in a situation where you want to sit by and we want to watch Dave go and get a container because we're watching our stories.
Yep.
I've done that. I've had people turn around to me and say, I'm watching TV, can you grab me the cash? No, I'm not, because you're right here, you can do it with me. But there are
Yep.
situations you may not be able to climb that tree. The question is, did you find that cash? It's up to you. It's up to
Yeah.
the individual
Exactly.
to do it, but their name should be in the logbook. And they should, in my personal ways, they should be finding the cash.
Yeah. There are lots of people will argue the climbing the tree routine of one person climbing the tree and 5 people assisting by, yay, good job, I can still see you, don't fall out, and everybody gets their name in the log. There's if you didn't climb the tree, you
But
didn't. I don't know.
but if you consider that situation compared to one where you may have been in another area code at the time, or
Yes,
you may have been
completely
at
different.
the other end of the trail,
Yes.
let's let's
Yeah.
work out which is the better of the evils or the
Yeah.
worst of the evils.
Here it is over here. Can you see it? Good. You're in. There you go. That's my answer.
It's about the adventure.
Yes. Did they have fun going with you on that adventure? Houston, Texas Dave says, does a reviewer have a health score cache hiders? For example, a few caches have been archived due to lots of DNFs or missing cache. Does a reviewer have a health score?
I don't think that necessarily would do anybody any good. So, as for an example, I think this is saying is we know the caches have a health score because people get emails from HQ about it.
Yep.
Is there a column that says this player has so many caches and so many have issues? I don't think that would do anybody any good because there can be events. For example, we've got an event happening in BC right now where I'm quite sure that if the last thing on people's mind is how a bunch of caches have gone missing, they've got bigger fish to fry.
Yep.
But somebody right now could have every one of their caches could be disabled or DNF'd. And does that mean that score would mean anything? This event has turned around and has impacted their quote unquote green stats? I don't think that would do anybody any good. But the flip side to that is it's very easy to tell when someone has a lot of caches that have issues. You can just use the search page. You can look for needs maintenance attributes, and anybody can find out very quickly what someone's overall condition is. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a separate stat for that.
Do reviewers see the personal cache notes on submitted caches?
Nope. Hence the word personal.
There you go.
I think it says that inside the help center as well. So if you use a personal note, it's personal. It's not part of the cache page or the review. It's your arena.
Right.
It's very similar to if you were to hit the corrected coordinates button on a cache, and you were to put coordinates in, and someone else goes to that cache and hits the corrected coordinates, well, obviously they don't see yours.
Yep.
So that arena is separate, and that's with the player's profile. That's not something that's cache page driven.
Yep. Gary asks, do you think we will ever see webcam caches allowed to be created again?
In this world of privacy concerns, I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
A couple of indicators. Thou shalt not request someone take a picture for a virtual that needs them to show their face.
Mhm.
I very much doubt that even the legality of having doorbell cameras nowadays is up in the air. I'm not quite sure how people would want to weigh in with that because different jurisdictions could have different approaches and all local
Mhm.
laws apply. That's going to be complicated, but never say never. Maybe there'll be a cache type that includes the ability to do that. Oh, wait a second. We have one. People have virtual caches.
Sarah arrived just in time to hear you ask for Bitcoin.
Yes, large amounts. Either that, we're going to come around your house and clean your ducts.
Ducks. If I adopt a cache, Patricia Bell, another patron. We have all kinds of patrons. They're coming all over the place. Would the personal cache notes come with it? If I
I don't believe so.
Oh, good question.
I have never tried it. I think if you can leave a personal note on a cache that doesn't belong to you, then that indicates that your profile keeps the personal note for you. It doesn't belong on the cache page.
How about logging Earth caches and challenge caches when you need a date on your stats page or finding a streak and not on the day you found it or qualified? Cheating.
See, on challenge is great. It's a very good question.
Yes. Okay, so if
It's
I logged the Earth cache, I log it an Earth cache. I always log it on the date that I was there, even if it's like a week later and I've tabulated everything. It's always go. But a challenge cache, I log them on the date that I realize I qualify, not
so
backdating.
see. Okay, all right. Let's play debate here, Dave. So,
Yes.
what date did you find the challenge cache?
Let's say it was March 1st of this
Okay.
year, but I
And
just qualified today.
But let's say, for example, that challenge cache was itself was, I don't know, a 4-2, and you're doing another challenge that needs a 4-2. And you think, oh, maybe I'm going to go and check and see if I qualify for that challenge that I did that day. Oh, magically it's a 4-2. I'm going to log it today. Yay!
Yep.
Some folks say that that's problematic. Other folks say, well, we should log it the day that you found the cache. The same way as if, let's say you go and do an Earth cache tomorrow, and there's 7 questions. And you do 6 questions tomorrow, and in 6 weeks' time, you go back and you answer the 7th question, and you decide to log it on that day you find the 7th question.
Yes.
Which day did you find the Earth cache?
Yeah, that in that case, I log it as the date that I was standing there.
Okay, and then let's say you don't get around to it, but there's a souvenir day coming for Earth caches. It's one of those wonderful things where if we all played within our own arena and we didn't necessarily worry about anybody else's, it would be much better because we obviously would just doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But we all know there are part of the fun of the game are the challenges. They are the jostling we do between each other of debating these things. It's probably one of the things that makes people keep coming back is it is not a science.
Yes.
Right.
It's debatable. I mean, there's people do it different ways, and you can debate it till the cows come home, and you'll never win.
Yeah. And whatever works for you works for
Yeah.
you. If somebody says it doesn't work for them, I would respect their opinion. But if you were to say, let's switch from guidelines to rules, and if it were a rule, which would you prefer?
I would rather have a guideline. So let's. Do you wash geese?
I do. I do. We do duck cleaning and geese.
There you go. And another A&K question: are all required photos on Earth caches actually optional, or can they be mandatory as long as you don't have to show your face?
Good question. Thankfully, I don't get to review Earth caches.
Yeah.
Because I don't know too much about rocks other than they go into drinks. Cold ones. I believe that the thou should not show your face should be, I would have thought,
Yep.
across the board, just from a privacy perspective. But if you are asking for pictures like a virtual, sounds reasonable, doesn't it? I would double check on the Earth cache guidelines.
I would think because I have a virtual that is 3 stages, and it asks for 3 different pictures, one at each stage, not showing your face, but you must have a picture at each. And it says if you do not have the pictures, your log can be deleted. I can delete your log.
Yeah, so there's an Earth Cache loggings task item in the
Right.
guidelines.
And I would say that Earth Cache, if they ask you for a picture of a specific, uh, or say, give me an example of one fossil, and you must post a picture. Must.
So under the Earth Cache page under Help Center for acceptable logging tasks, it says asking geocachers to provide a photo of themselves or a personal item to prove they visited the site. A personal item must be an option for those who do not want to photograph themselves. This task is acceptable only as an addition to well-developed logging tasks, not a substitution. So I would say if someone says that they'd like a photograph, please, as long as there's other things going on, that seems reasonable, but they cannot ask you to identify yourself. That is my interpretation.
Right. Yeah.
Ask your local geo-aware.
Yeah. Direct that to that other person. Thanks to all the reviewers around the world for their efforts during this past year or two. Yes, it must have been a challenging time.
Made a lot easier by a lot of really great people. We've been
Yeah.
very fortunate to work with some stellar folks out there who have been crazily patient with us.
Charles says challenge caches should be logged the day you qualify or the day you find it, whichever is the latest. Not on a day you need it for a streak or a souvenir.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just on April 1st go in and change it from guidelines to rules and just
Yeah.
sit back and watch? We'd add some fun ones in there. So, for example, you could only use a GPS if you got it in a metric. Just imagine a couple of paces who would lose their mind over that.
Yeah, Gary says I log the challenge as found on the day I actually qualify. If I can't determine when the day was, I will log it on the day I discovered. There you go. How can we find an archive cache on gc.com?
If you have the GC code, every cache that's published is still visible. Just don't use the mobile app.
Yeah, you can't go searching for them unless you have the GC
But
code.
the other side is an archive cache is archived typically for a reason. So yes, you might want to go back and read things about it, see what was going on, but it's archived for a reason. Let it sleep.
Gary, are you that old? Also, can I post a selfie?
It's a lot better than cutting him in half and counting the rings. So
Yes. Just Joey, out in BC now, right?
yes,
Can you explain the difference between guidelines and rules?
absolutely. So for Joe, she doesn't like either one, but rules are worse for her because they have to be done a certain way, whereas guidelines are inferred things have to be done a certain way. It just makes it feel warmer and fuzzier.
And Cache Line says finding archive caches is a tricky thing. Project C is a roundabout way to find them.
Ontario misses just Joey, by the way.
Yes.
It's just not the same without her. All
How
losses
far-
BC's gain.
How far away is she from Kelowna?
Well, she's only not too far away.
Not too far away, huh?
Just
Probably,
a body of water.
Oh, okay. If there's a lot of snow involved, we'll be because rental cars don't come with snow
As
tires,
long
so
as you can swim.
I can't go very far.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard that since she moved to BC, I think most of the BC reviewers are probably lining up for therapy. It's just a rumor.
And yeah, my daughter's in Kelowna, but we're staying across the lake. Let me see.
Miss you, buddy.
Ow. Okay, another true or false. Okay, did I do that one, Cash? No. Okay, hold on, I gotta go back up. Yep. Okay, here we go. I've run afoul of this one myself. Past publication of a similar geocache is justification for publication of a new geocache. Well, they did it. Must be over in Colorado. That just the other day, a cache was published that said blah 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 blah. True or false? Come on, people. Is that it's just but they've done it, so it must be okay. False? Come on. What do you mean?
No
But
cache,
it's
no cache sets a precedent,
that's correct.
which is a lot of folks are surprised to hear that the guidelines change over time. They could even change one moment to the next. The game evolves, things change. There might be learnings that we all make on reviewer teams in different regions. There might be things that HQ put out because of changes in approach. Could be legal changes. There could be technology changes. It could be situations where a reviewer today looks at something, publishes the something. The next time they have a little more caffeine that morning, and maybe they have a little more sleep, and things seem to be a little different. There's nothing that says that you have to repeat past mistakes, and there's nothing that says that you can't improve. As a wise man once said, we'll make better mistakes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yes, no cache sets precedent. So, if you do have a reviewer that pushes back your cache, it will be a waste of your time in most cases to quote the GC code of a similar thing elsewhere, because your reviewer is reviewing the cache in front of them at that point in time. Bearing in mind, if you disagree with the reviewer's interpretation of the guidelines, which is natural, you can always ask to find folks in the appeals team, and they'll go back and look at that cache page, not necessarily going to be relating to anything else. As they say in the financial world, past performance is no indicator of future results.
Why is there not a nano-sized rating?
Why would you want to promote more nanos?
I know. Let's have mini nanos in a forest.
I just think there should be two ratings. There should be bigger than a bread box and not bigger than a bread box. Think how much more fun it would be.
Yep. So different province, different rules.
It's a regional game played globally.
Yes.
That's gonna get a T-shirt on that.
I'm gonna bring up this link right now. There we go. I was just looking at this link, and I'm going to share the screen. Hang on a sec. Share screen. Chrome tab. There we go. Share. There we can see it. Okay, so here we go. This is one that Cache Shadow refers to often. This is the wiki page. And people, what is the wiki page? And actually, I came across this in a kind of a backwards way. I was looking up the questions for today that I was going to put on the banners, and here is about wiki. And then I thought, he always mentions the Ontario wiki, and I go, what is it, Ontario special or something? But no, watch this. Go down here, and we go to the Americas. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, north or south? North. And we go, oh, Canada. And then we go, oh, wait a minute, Ontario, which there's a worldwide audience watching us right now, but we're in Ontario. Both Roy and I are in Ontario. So here is the Ontario Wiki, and it gives you all the different things that are unique to Ontario. And every province or state has their own different sets of guidelines, right? There might be something, because I know one of them for Ontario that I came with challenge caches was the distance allowed between challenge caches that are of a similar nature. Like I can have a streak of 100 days, but if there's one within 20 kilometers of where I want to put mine, can't do that. Has to be more than 50 kilometers. And we're lucky, I've learned, for Ontario that we can do that because, say, a state of North Dakota can only have one. But we can have multiple because Ontario is so big. That was something like that.
Yeah, we have those moments where you get red ink on your cache page because your reviewer has said, sorry, we can't do that. And it's frustrating. There may be instances where whatever that thing is does happen somewhere else. But there might be things in that somewhere else that they don't allow that we do allow. But you never know about that as a player unless you've dealt with reviewers in different regions. So we might have regions that don't allow hides in trees. We might only have that for certain jurisdictions. So for example, in Ontario here, we have one city that doesn't allow tree climbs. So we look for those things, but we might elsewhere. But you only know that it's an issue when you bump into it. You don't realize that there are times where we might allow something other regions do not. And when we come across those, we put them into the wiki so that folks are aware. They can either go and look at it ahead of time proactively, or in our reviewer notes, we might say, take a look at this, and we'll give some additional guidance.
Yeah, there's what Gary says. Some cities require permission for a cache to be placed on city property. That letter needs to be attached to the reviewers to verify.
So in the region that Gary's in, that's one of their requirements. They may have that stated inside their wiki for British Columbia, along with their other permission information, for example, BC Parks. The players in a region can go to that resource ahead of time and see what's needed versus getting it from their reviewer in like a submit for review, disable note situation, because it just slows things down.
Can a moving cache, there are no more moving caches, be signed in more than once? Example or contract. And I think you're thinking of a trackable.
Trackables.
So a trackable code. You cannot log it more than once. You can try, but I think it says you've already logged this one. I agree it would be great to have nano size. It would surely help narrow down that what you're looking for when it's marked as a micro.
See, if you're always looking for a nano, think how surprised and joyous it will be when you find it's bigger.
Yeah, there you go. Going back to our before we go back to our banners, we're just going to play a little thing. One of the tonight, one of the comments. So we get rid of that. Tonight we're giving away some prizes. Cache Canada is going to give away 2 Cache Canada trackables. Either be one of our dog tags that we had on our very first time, or one of our fancy ones from folks at Landsharks. But we're also going to be having a prize given away by our friends at Cashers Corner Store. And we just want to play this. This is not a paid ad, but we just want to give homage to Cashers Corner Store because they are doing such a great job for our vlogging community. So here we go. We'll be back in 10 seconds. Cashers Corner Store. Look at all that stuff you can get from there. Holy doodle, I hope he must live on a huge corner. Wow. Holy doodle. There you go. Cashers Corner Store. Check them out. And it's pretty easy to do. CashersCornerStore.com. People should use unknown for size more often. Can you still use unknown?
Take a look.
I haven't placed a cache in a long time. It's been a while. And Roy says
question mark.
And Roy says, whew.
See, and that's one of the other questions, is that there's different ways of thinking about cache size. So some folks look at the cache page and they see the size and they think that's the thing I'm looking for. Other people look at it and say, oh, that's the size. I know if I can leave a trackable in it. Well, there might be situations where what you're looking for example, is let's say it's a birdhouse tied to a tree, but there's no room inside it for a trackable because inside they've got a small waterproof container. Like, well, this should have been listed as a micro. Well, no, you're looking for a large birdhouse. That's why it's listed as small or irregular. The flip side works as well. People say, well, it says it was a small when I got there and it was this big birdhouse. So it's a guide.
Rules regarding placement of caches in cemeteries are a prime example. Some areas allow them to be placed within the cemetery, while others require them to be placed around the edge or outside of the cemetery.
And some places do not allow it at all.
Oh, right. I think North Carolina, I know is one.
And also, even in Ontario, it depends because it's a permission thing as well. There might be situations where a land manager or a manager of facilities such as that would come back and say, please, no, we don't want any here. Might be situations where they assign certain areas. As we get that information, we try and keep tabs of it on the reviewer side, but it's a big world, and we just expect that every time you go to place a cache, just remember there are circumstances that you may not be aware of, or even the reviewers want a visibility to, that might affect whether it can be published. And sometimes things are published and they have a hard time remaining because there have been challenges or issues with the location. Just, it's part of the game.
Yeah, usually we find them on the outskirts, but sometimes it'll be a cedar tree, like right in the middle of the cemetery, and it could be there. But usually, oh, it's in the corner or it's on the edge. Here's another one of our true false. Cache owners should ask reviewers to delete logs that appear to be false or inappropriate. That's where you go. First thing you do, contact your local reviewer and say, hey, I don't think this should be said in a log, or I don't know, that doesn't seem right. I think maybe you should take care of that. Should the reviewer get involved in that? Is that part of your job?
So Gary has a false. Let's see what other
He
people
says
say.
false. Gary says false. Anybody else? Is that true or false? Cache owners should ask reviewers to delete logs that appear to be false or inappropriate. False. The CO should do it, and that is correct.
Yes, as the owner of a cache maintenance isn't just the container, it extends to the cache page itself. There may be situations where things are posted to cache pages that just shouldn't be there. Maybe someone was having a day and decided they'd find out what new words they could learn and decided to just log a whole bunch of caches with some not great words. You could also ask someone to take care of that if the cache owner isn't responding because you think it shouldn't be on the cache page. You could certainly escalate that. HQ can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be an example of where you may get assistance, but typically, and also for false logs, cache owners should be maintaining their pages.
Yeah.
So if there is a log on a cache that shouldn't be there, let's say someone using offensive terms, cache owners are supposed to be reading those logs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one would hope that they would action it already, and if they don't, maybe they're not near their email at the moment, that day, that week. It doesn't necessarily need to be immediate response, but one would hope that it's very, very quick.
Yep. I had a
reviewers
log.
are not your log police, essentially.
Yeah. I had a log placed on one of my caches that it was a cache destroyer or something, and they said they filled the cache up with mud. Ha ha ha. Good luck for you. And then I looked to see what else the person had logged, and they did similar things to other local cachers. So then I forwarded that information to HQ and let them take care of it. Rather than just deleting the log and not dealing with it, I thought, okay, I'm going to take this to HQ. Just here you go. And then they dealt with it and it was gone.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Cache
and then
pages.
I checked on the cache and everything was fine.
Cache pages themselves, realm of cache owner. The cache page itself, the content in it being guidelines compliant, realm of reviewer and cache owner. Player issues, player conflicts, and such, realm of HQ. Because players are HQ's customer.
Yep.
Players they have the relationship with HQ. HQ effectively know who they are, all the information they provided. Reviewers don't want that information. We're not employees. We don't need the information. You are the player name in front of us. Is your cache page guidelines compliant? Those are our key focuses.
Does Cache Shadow have a reviewer trackable?
He does, and actually I was going to throw maybe 3 in as prizes tonight as well.
There we go. So that would be up to 2, 3, 5, 6 prizes. Ooh, I'm going to be busy spinning the wheel. We have a lot of caches that could require a ladder in the Niagara region, and we've always wondered, what is a ladder of choice? Surely cachers aren't looking around an extension ladder. I have one of those exotic, whatever you call it, pull-em-out ladders. I got it on sale.
Those, yeah.
I got it on sale at Canadian Tire for $85. It was a steal.
Is it a regular one, or is it a step above the rest?
It's a step above the rest.
Okay.
It's yellow. I don't know. It's yellow.
I was gonna give you some other ladder puns, but that's already been around.
There you go. Oh, Gary says, don't forget to check Kelowna weather before you come out here. Maybe snow there next weekend. Well, there's snow here now, right here in Ontario, right in my backyard. In extreme circumstances, I've seen a log locked, when the CO didn't delete a log with inappropriate language. Oh.
I hear popcorn.
Oh, that's my wife. Is that coming? I was wondering, is that going to come through on on the microphone? Yes. By the way, if anybody didn't know, Lyric Glass is a lover of popcorn. Janet Yu said, I have deleted a log. The cacher never found the cache.
See, good cache maintenance.
There you go. See, Julie says, sorry, joining late. No, you're not. You're just arriving just in time. We haven't given away anything. So, perfect. There you go. And everybody else has had some fun. In the meantime, I have a collapsible 12.5-foot ladder. I don't know how tall mine is. Ask any Ottawa cacher. Model 12 is responsible for this. What, going up cache or going up trees? Rent a GeoMonkey. Yes, we used to have one of those. Okay, what's in Roy's cup tonight? I can see
Aspartame.
Aspartame.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is this though? It's yellow. What is it? Anybody know? Could be a couple of things.
I'm afraid to suggest at this point.
It's not that. I'm not in the desert. And I'm not dying of thirst. Good thing there is no smell in YouTube. I know right now it's like,
It doesn't burn.
Where's mine?
Good to go.
Charles M speaks the truth. Rye. Oh, wait a minute. Rye. No, I'm out. This is, we're going to, here, I'll fill up. There we go. This is a Sam Adams Boston Lager. I got that in Michigan. Yeah. So I've been out of the country now, what, I was 7 weeks in a row. I'm done now. And I know it's not ginger ale, although I have some in the fridge. And that came from Michigan too. Iced tea, no, I don't like iced tea. Rum, haven't had any in a while. JD, had that in Michigan because it's just easy to ask for because they don't know. They have a Canadian Club, but it's just easy to say JD on the rocks because then they know what to do. Yeah. An expense account was kind of cool, but you do have to be careful. You didn't wave to us across. I know. I was. Were you there? I was going to come down to downtown Detroit and see if we could see each other, but I think I was busy at that moment. I was actually working, I think. Anyway. I actually did do something while I was over there besides geocaching. And we have several videos coming out for Michigan. Well, I do. Lyric Glass was not with me, but we have some coming out in December. I have a collapsible ladder that I strap onto an old frame for an external frame pack. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's being prepared. I like that.
Yeah, wow. My ladder would kill me if I put that on my... Those collapsible ladders are nice, but they're not light. They are not light. Okay. Here's another true or false. Once your geocache is placed, it's okay to make changes to the cache page.
Let's see what this one says. This should be good.
So we'll leave that one out there for a bit. So we'll leave that one and we'll see what else somebody says. Wait a minute. Did you sign? Oh, did you sign us in the cache you found? No. Great idea for a ladder carrying. Yes, but I could never put that thing on my back. Somebody messaged me, Brian. Okay, Brian. Okay, all right. Yeah, Cacher's Corner store is on. I'm chatting with him right now. It's okay.
So Carnivora says true. Annie M says we changed the description only. All other things should stay the same. Roger says depends on what you're changing. Linda says true. Oh.
Yes, right there. Depends on what you are changing. Yeah, true. You can update information to be more helpful. True. But you'll have to resubmit for review if you have submitted. Well, you only need to resubmit for review if it hasn't been published yet.
Right.
You can change anything on the page after it's been published. But this is a trick question. It is not strictly a true-false answer.
So the premise being is when you submit your cache for review, you're asking the reviewer to see if they believe it's guidelines compliant and it's published. HQ allow you to use the edit button to change the text in your cache page. You can do an update coordinates log to change your posted coordinates. You can edit your waypoints. You have the ability to make those changes, which will allow you to resolve issues with the cache, for example. If you relocate your cache, let's say 50 meters, you can update your coordinates and you can change your listing from saying it's in the bush to it's in the tree. But you still need to make sure your cache page is guidelines compliant. No, a reviewer isn't looking at it when you're making those changes.
Yes.
But they may see it, and there are many instances where changes are made and the cache will be disabled. If, for example, you've updated your coordinates and you've moved your cache with a coordinate update too close to another cache, well, you've not got the reviewer there helping you during that initial review. You may not realize you're too close to another cache. Your reviewer may disable your cache. They may put your coordinates back to what they were during review and say, sorry, you're too close. You have to fix this, please. You need to remain guidelines compliant. Hi, Brian. So yes, you can change your page, but it needs to be guidelines compliant. Obviously, you should try not to make changes once you've had a cache published.
Yeah.
That's obviously going to be the best way of avoiding issues. Changing text in your cache page kind of avoids the whole point of being reviewed. And you got to remember, every cache that you have published, it's casting a shadow to other people that start enjoying the game, and they see your cache page and they learn how things are perhaps done, and they might want to replicate it. So everybody, when they create the cache page, don't just think of it as being the description of how to find your cache. Think of it as being your statement of how you want an adventure to be. So make it right the first time if you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to make changes, just make sure the guideline's compliant.
When you make changes, so you could try to, this is where you could get caught. If you're publishing a cache and you know something that you're going to put on the cache page is not allowed, like saying, go give blood, or you're promoting a cause, hey, we're having a garage sale, or whatever, or naming the business. It is not a good practice to publish the cache page and then circumvent the reviewer by going back and changing something, putting something in that you know is not allowed in the rules. That's why I put that question there.
Yeah, and you got to bear in mind that there are a lot of people who play the game, but you're dealing with the same team of reviewers who talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And if, for example, you are in a situation where you think, I'm just going to sneak that in, well, things get noticed. It's not a huge game regionally. People talk. Things get noticed. So the next time when maybe your cache is 160.9999999 meters away from another cache, your viewer might go, do I really want to see that little extra latitude? Because remember that time that they put the blood thing in? Do you really want that to happen? No. I'm not saying that that's what would happen, but it's all's fair in love and war. Let's make sure that we put a right foot forward and do the right thing the first time and leave it there. Yeah. And post-publish changes are never encouraged because they're often noticed.
Did we all watch the GIF video with the guy from Finland, where the guy was shortening the tape measure to get it less than 160 meters? It's good, right? Yes, it's within the allowable distance.
It is. It's a game. Right. So there's always some latitude within it, but at the same time, we're all trying to play from a similar playbook.
Okay, so I have to say hello to Brian. I was chatting with him briefly. He signed in, and I had a question for him, and he said, "Oh shoot!" And I said, "Hey, if you come on, I'll show you your little thing that I made for." So we'll show this again. Cacher's Corner Store. Here, we'll be right back. Cacher's Corner Store. There you go, Brian. Business is going to pick right up. I know it. I can feel it now. There we go. Thanks for dropping in, Brian. Okay. Do reviewers see history of changes to a cache page?
We typically can remember most things.
Does the when you publish a cache, when I put reviewer notes and we go back and forth, and then we hit publish, does all that stuff remain in somewhere in the background that nobody can see, but you can come back and look at it?
Well, whenever you're having a cache reviewed, when you use a reviewer note to communicate with your reviewer, the premise being is reviewer notes are between you and the reviewer until the cache is published. Then they disappear from public view, but they're in the background in case HQ wants to look at them.
It's
So
always there.
it's things never really disappear, right?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
computer
Okay.
systems. That's hence why
Yep.
we archive a cache. We don't delete a cache.
Yep.
Similar approach. So just be mindful that when you're providing information to your reviewer, it's great because they can go back and refer to it later. As an example, if you have a permission note from, let's say, the library, you put a multi with a stage in the library, the head librarian provides permission, cache goes out there, 5 years later, new head librarian joins, hadn't been told about the cache, and they call and say, what's this thing in my library? Well, you might not have the email anymore, but you're lucky because you should have provided it as a reviewer note or an email to your reviewer. They would have made a reviewer note that's still accessible to HQ to say, Fred Smith, the former head librarian, said this was good to go. And I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. Now I know about it. So do a communication in your reviewer notes. They're part of your cache history. And that's why when reviewers say, please post a reviewer note with your feedback, it's so that your conversation stays within the cache. So don't hit the button to go to reviewer's profile page and send them a message or send them an email when you're in a review. Post a note on the cache itself, and that keeps conversation with the cache page, and that way it's behind the scenes if you need to have it referred to by HQ. So that's a plus. But as
Okay.
far as changes, there are situations where reviewers might, like even in GSAC, like I download my GSAC every day. I've got history of every log in Ontario for 10 years. So I keep track of changes that way. It's very helpful.
Is there a flag on a cache when the listing has been updated by the CO? This could be used to alert the cache police reviewers that there has been a change made.
Well, you can, again, it's another thing you can tell easily in GSAC, right?
Yeah. I know some caches I've seen
At the bottom of the
or
page,
I've published.
modified. Yeah.
Yeah, it says it was listed as a whatever at the time of publication.
Yep.
I think that's in the reviewer note when it gets published.
Yeah. In Ontario for events that I publish, I always put the D&T rating in my publish note.
Okay, that's where I've seen it. Yeah. Okay.
But to be honest, it's the amount of reviewing that's done, the amount of changes that does occur with cache pages is very minimal after publish. Folks do a great job of maintaining the cache and updating the cache page, text when there's been a legit change. It's so rare that you do have a coordinate issue because you bumped into something when you moved it. It's so rare that folks do run into issues. They're out there, but it's really just it's a very thin edge of the blade when we're looking at it.
Here's another true or false. It's okay to log a webcam cache with a selfie as long as you're at the proper location. That's key. You have to be at the proper location. You can't just post any old selfie.
True or false?
Yeah, true or false. Proper location. Is that true?
Let's see what somebody says.
Come on, somebody has to have an opinion.
I think they all think it's pretty obvious.
Yes. What do you mean false?
False.
Whoa!
Thou shalt
Nope.
not do selfies for webcams. Webcam caches are webcam caches for a reason.
Heck no.
If
False.
the webcam is down, that's a shame.
True, if you use the webcam to take the selfie. Now, there is, I don't know, in Halifax, there was a webcam, and then the cache owner said it's okay to use a selfie if the webcam is down, and that was in the cache description. Is that
That's
okay?
nice. I would check the guidelines.
Yeah, but that was in the cacher's description. So there we go. We'll get rid of that. There we go. That was a unanimous LOL moment for sure.
Yep. Howdy back to the
Oh,
Pizza Ninja.
Pizza Ninja. Woohoo! Awesome. Good to have you with us. And come on, let's have a couple more questions. Then we have to do some giveaways, and I'm going to wind up. I'm going to get the wheel going so Roy can chew on a nice big question, and then I'll get that going because it's a little bit laborious to do. Get this on a live chat to do the wheel of names. Oh, the Halifax one
And
has been archived. Oh,
and
thank goodness I got it. And with a webcam visual, not a selfie.
and pineapple can go on pizza.
Yes, it can. Absolutely. And I was at his restaurant in Michigan, and they had Caesar salads with anchovies.
Mm,
It
yes,
was wonderful.
of course.
Oh, gorgeous. It was beautiful. The flavor was just, oh my gosh, fresh. It was a fresh anchovy, whatever that, not dried. But anyways, really good. Loved it. Um, I did that before, then later learned it was not okay to do that. And I will admit I have logged a webcam or two with a selfie before I knew it was wrong and realized, oh yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. So anyway,
But you
so
get points for actually being there.
yeah,
It might
I
not be
was there.
valid. It might not be a valid fine, but it's at least
Yeah,
you were there. That's certainly far improved over some attempts.
yes. Well, I got the picture for you. Anyway, anywho, okay. Let's throw up another question. I think this is my last one that I had, and then I'll tabulate some names. There you go. A cash container must contain a writing instrument. That's an
Like
easy one.
like a cello or
Yeah, a writing instrument. Writing. You can't write with a cello. Well, you
yes, you
could.
can
You can. You can write with a
in the
cello.
snow.
It's not. Oh, okay. Pineapple and pizza. Okay, so I have to go to YouTube. Take over, Roy.
All
You're on.
right. So we know that we don't require a writing implement inside a cache. That also is not a reason for a needs maintenance. If you come across a cache, even if the cache page says there is a pen within it when it was hidden, if it's not there now, that's not necessarily a needs maintenance flag. In 99.99% of cases, unless it was part of the hide. Good example of thinking ahead as well is we all want to tell folks what's in the cache when we hit it. Maybe that isn't a great thing to be in the cache description, because if you say first defined prize is such and such in your cache description, well, after the first person's found the cache and the prize is gone, that listen's out of date, so to speak. So some folks choose to not put the contents that are going to be taken in the description. They choose to use a write note log, and that way folks can see it when they look at the cache page. Nowadays, perhaps it's not as happening as often with the mobile finders, but it happened more in the past when people go and look at the cache page before they'd head out. But bear that in mind, is that a long list of things that's inside your cache, that it may not be there after the cache has been around a while, and some folks might be confused as why they didn't find that $5 coffee card in the 10-year-old cache. So just bear that in mind. We have, I'll keep going here and see Houston Dave in Texas says macaroni pizza. That's neat. Vanilla on pizza. I've not tried that, but yeah, that sounds like that should be a thing. That's neat. What's your favorite? And
Okay,
you're back.
I'm back. Okay, what did we determine?
We determined that those do not have to have a pen inside a cache, a writing
Right.
implement.
Yes. Did you know that mud and a stick, they make great writing instruments?
I once FTF'd a cache with Mrs. Landsharks with a car key and a leaf for chlorophyll. I
Oh,
was
awesome.
visiting, and her phone went ding, and she grabbed the car keys, and off we went. And we arrived, and we completely blown away that neither one of us, not in the car, not in my backpack, every writing implement we had wasn't working. So it was a car key and a leaf, and I've got a picture of it actually. And that was a few years ago now, maybe 13 years ago. And sure enough, we signed that thing in chlorophyll, and I saw a photograph of the log a couple of years later, and it was still there.
Yep.
So
I had logged 3 caches in a park in Michigan. I hadn't a pen, and I remember I had loaned my pen to somebody at the plant I was working at. So I knew I didn't have one at all. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And it's like, so I took a stick and I just shoved it down into the dirt, scrubbed it up, and it worked great. I got my initials on every log. It was awesome.
One of my favorite logging pen stories was I'd found a cache with Swiftaroo, so this is going back a few years, and I am in the habit of taking a photograph, or used to be, of when I sign a log. I had one of those little, I thought it was a little Sharpie, little short ones, used to have on the neck thing.
Yep.
So I signed the log, go ahead, log it, and sometime later the cache owner deleted my find log, and they said, your name's not in the log. And like, I know I logged it. I've got a picture. So I sent them my photograph, and they sent their photograph, and there was a blank space between the log before me and log afterwards that lined up exactly because the log had got wet and it wasn't a Sharpie.
Oh.
And the ink had run away, and it was a completely clear spot. I went,
wow.
there's my picture. And I had multiple angles of this thing, and they went, oh, and we relogged it. But that's the great thing about phones, right?
Yep. Got it. Maybe I should have taken a picture of my mud. That's okay. Outside of permission issues and guideline violations, what other complaints could a player make that could cause a reviewer to take action, disable, or archive a cache?
Incomplete haikus. I don't know. Bad choice of color scheme on the cache page. No, for the most part, disable is usually based on a guideline issue. Our permission, that's often up to an archive. Top of my head, there might be situations where someone has sent an email saying, I cannot disable my cache right now. Would you be a lamb and do it for me? They send it from their profile page. And there might be situations, maybe they're getting on a plane, they want to stop folks from getting to a cache, coordinates are wrong, it's been published. That can occur. Also, maybe situations where people have reported a possible issue with getting to the cache. And let's say, for example, that there's permission to have the cache where it's placed, but there's a neighbor who does not want you walking down in front of their driveway or parking in front of their driveway to get to the place that's got permission. And sometimes that can escalate. Sometimes tempers can flare in the community, and it might be in the best instance to just, remove it from the game board for the time being. That's a good approach. So a disable cache effectively is not ready to be found right now. Think of it that way. And an archive cache is considered permanently removed from the game is the best approach. So a myriad of situations that could lead to that, but they usually are guideline violations or permission, which is again guidelines.
If you can't find a cache, is it okay to put a new container and a log, or is that a no-no?
The cache owner is responsible for their cache. A throwdown.
Throwdown.
Yes.
No.
One should not do that.
Although I have done it.
It could be considered a disservice to the cache owner.
Yeah.
So there's two ways of looking at this. Yeah. If it's such a fantastic location that it deserves geocache, if that cache were to be archived because it's not being maintained by the owner, well, if you want people to come to the location, chances are you might be able to place the cache there yourself and make sure it's maintained, which is better for the community. Whereas if you're doing work on behalf of the cache owner the entire time, maybe that's not going to give them the incentive to maintain their cache at all. Or maybe there are other ones. They're just going to wait for somebody else to do it. Maybe you've not actually found their original container and you've now put a second container down. And folks in the future go, I found the blue container, although I found an orange container nearby. So it is definitely something where you shouldn't make it a habit, in my opinion, of just fixing things what you think are broken. Yeah. Now, as the Gary saying, if you ask the cache owner and say, hey, I'm here right now, I can't find it. If they give you permission, one could say that they are indirectly maintaining it because they're at least aware of it, but they should acknowledge that on the cache page within a maintenance log.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do that, there isn't a heartbeat on that page to show that they're actually taking care of it. And that heartbeat on that page, that's important because let's say the cache has been in trouble for a while And we know from the help center that HQ will send an email out to cache owners saying, hey, your cache looks like it might need some help. The health score notifications.
Yeah.
If you, the cache owner, don't action those notifications are not going to go away. It doesn't matter if somebody else does a nice thing. How's a viewer going to know that you're taking care of it? So if you have somebody who's nice enough to do something for you, as a cache owner, recognize it. If you do not.
Yeah, we have a video where we replaced a cache that was broken. And we know the CO very, very well. He was very close to his house. But while we were in the video, you know what? I have a container that's exactly the same. It's not. It's not that it wasn't missing, and I know I have prior permission, to replace anything that he had done. And it was like, I'm there. You know what? Karen's in the tree. I just throw it up to her. There you go, and everything is good. And somebody called us out on it, but that's we had not specific permission. We didn't say, hey, can we do this right now? We're there right now. It was prior permission. Hey, if there is one, it's there. I don't know. We did it. We did it on video. We were honest about it. And I think we actually discussed it within that video.
I think so. A&K's follow-up here. They're saying back to the disable. So cache is too dangerous, or they think a cache will encourage people to dismantle all the bolts on the bridge. Well, dismantling bolts, that would definitely be a guidelines issue, because one shouldn't be messing up the environment around the cache. And maybe a permission issue. Like, okay, if people are doing this, you want to just double check it's okay with the people that take care of the bridge, that people are messing with these bolts. You could look at it either way. Obviously it's an extended circumstance and description there, but you might disable it and say to the cache owner, hey, apparently people are dismantling this bridge. Is the person who gave you permission good with that? Please respond back. And as far as the danger aspect, if someone has a question, they might raise it to the cache owner. There might be situations where it might be best to wait for that answer back. But if you look at all the times that safety is referred to in the guidelines, again, it pretty much comes down to permission. So there might be a confirmation that permission is there. And that might be another reason things may be disabled.
There you go. This is very similar to what I said. Maintenance for CO that couldn't get to GZ, but knew that he would be nearby.
Yeah, and that's what's one of the good things about the community aspect of the game is we do things for each other, but we just to be mindful that we should acknowledge it to make sure it comes across as the cache owner is taking care of their cache, albeit indirectly in that situation, versus, oh, it's not here, I'll just throw one down. I'll just keep it going perpetually.
Yeah, here A&K, it was a difficulty 4.5, and the replacement was not a difficulty 4.5. Maybe they couldn't find it, and I've heard of that before too. Is it? It's not okay to throw down anything. You can't find it, DNF, plain and simple. But like it's a 1.5. You should be able to find it. Every other cache on the series was at the bottom of the telephone pole. This telephone pole doesn't have a cache like that.
DNF pride, folks. Pride in your DNF.
Yep. Yes. Yes. Anyway. Okay, should we give away, what should we give away first? Or we're going to give away one prize right now. I actually found a way to do this names thing, and if someone's name is not on the list, I apologize, but that's what YouTube gave me. And I will show you the wheel when I'm going to go spin it. Cache Canada prize right now, a Cache Shadow prize, or the prize from Cacher's Corner store. Let's hear the people in the audience. What should we give away? A CC, a CS, or a CCC? There you go. Votes are in. I'm going to tabulate the votes, and I'm going to bring up the wheel of names. Wait a minute. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to go over here, and we're going to look for it. There we go. And we're going to share that. There we go. Boom. Wheel of names. Okay, should we give away a Cache Canada trackable, a Cache Shadow trackable, or a Cacher's Corner store? We have 1, 2, 3 Cacher's Corner store, or CCS. Who's CCS? CCC, Cacher's Corner store. All right, I think it's a Cacher's Corner store prize. That's what's going first. All right, here we go. I'm going to spin the wheel of names. Bing. There we go. When you're on the actual page, you do actually get sound effects, but in this one, you're not going to get sound effects.
I can
And the
hear.
winner is Charles M.
We hear the cheering.
Oh, you hear that? Cool. All right, so Charles M., there you go. You have won the prize from Cash's Corner Store. And I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. Of course, I do have a recording to refer back to. Okay, so we have 5 more prizes to go. Charles M., Cash's Corner Store. Was that? No, that's that right? CCC? CCS. Whatever, Cash's Corner Store. There you go. That's what it is. Done. Carrying on. What else do we got? What else do we have? Any congrats? Congrats. There you go. Good job. I have no more preloaded questions. That's
It's all good.
that's all I got. You know, I just wanted to bring up the link again for the groundspeak.com display Geo Home for the wiki. There we go. And if you're interested in becoming a patron of Cache Canada, there we are. Patreon.com Cache Canada. And Charles says, woohoo, congratulations. We will get that out to you.
And you can go to the connectedontariogeocaches.ca or centralontariogeocaches.com, and on the right there is a link to the Ontario Regio Geocaching Policies Wiki because it's easier to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Connected Ontario Geocaches or centralontariogeocaches.ca.com, and that will give you links on the right to those resources. Makes your life easier.
How does one get on the wheel for prizes? Well, what I did was I went on the, what did I do? I went onto YouTube, and if you made a comment, then you should be on it. So what I did was, I've actually found it says participants, and it gives me a list of participants, and I copied all of those. But it could be live, so let me hang on a sec. Oh, yeah, it's live at the time, so let me hang on a sec here. We're going to redo this, because I think Teresa was not on there. And I do, if I add from comments, it just gives me some weird results. I can show you that when I do the next roll. Paste. No, that didn't work. Carry on, Roy.
Oh, I'm just musing at the magic of the wheel.
Ah.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Wow. Okay, I'm going to share you the wheel now.
You need little pieces of pie like this. There you
There
go.
you go. So this is what happens when you copy all of the chat rather than the participants. And I realized the participants were probably showing me the participants that were active at the moment. So that could be
Let's
why.
throw another prize on just in case.
So,
then.
so we'll show you what happens. So that, well, Charles M., he won his thing. So now we're going to do a Cache Canada trackable, okay? So we are going to spin the wheel, and we'll see what happens. If it must be a name, okay, that shows up, not a comment, but a name. See? That one doesn't work, because that was a comment. But I can't, it's too hard to track down the comment of who made what comment. So it has to come up as a name. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Woohoo! Jody Zoldel. There you go. Jody, always commenting on my personal page, things that we do as a Cache Canada trackable. Awesome. There we go. Okay. Hey, that was me. That was you. Brian, congrats, Charles. There we go. So, okay, we'll remove that. There we go. There we go. That's good. Congrats, Jody. There you go.
All right.
All right. Okay, carrying on.
There's actually been a lot of people in here this evening.
There has been in and out, coming and going. Okay, so congrats. Let's do another one. Let's do a Cache Shadow giveaway. All right, so we'll put that back up there, and we'll remove all instances of that. I'll spin the wheel again.
Jody, you've been removed.
Been removed. Oops. There we go. And oh, Gary Robertson. There you go.
How many is that now, Gary?
Oh, see, how many does he have? He's got a couple of ours, so
Well, we play this game in the COG Facebook group with some regularity, as you know, and
Yep.
now and again, folks' names crop up, and Gary's name appears to be Lucky, so he should just buy lottery tickets proxy for everybody else at this point.
All right, congrats, Gary. Okay, so we have one more Cash Canada to give away, and how many are you throwing in the?
Well,
The
you know what?
bank
Let's throw another three. Just do them in succession.
Another 3. All right.
Yeah. So
all right.
let's let's do
Three
that.
Three more Cash Shadows. Okay, and
Yeah.
then we'll end with a Cash Canada.
Yeah.
All right. Add to the stream. Here we go. Wheel of names, and we'll remove all instances for Gary. Sorry, Gary, you're gone. I think you're still with us though. Here we go. Spinning away, spinning away, spinning away. And is it a name? Oh, I think it is. There it is. Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Now, anybody that has won, please email londonwesty@gmail.com, because I might not know who you are. In this case, I don't know. And that way I can say, oh yeah, I remember. Just
Well,
say,
it's Laurie C, obviously.
yeah, say, I was Laurie C. I was watching your show, and I won a Cash Shadow prize.
As you get 58 emails from people claiming to be Laurie C.
Keep Laurie C, yeah. And then it's up to me to figure out how to do that. All right, here we go. All right, removing all instances of Laurie C. There we go. And then we're spin again.
Go. Let's see who wins this time.
CCC, no. CCC can't win.
There's a comment.
Nice Tea can't win. Because Ice Tea's not. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Denise Desjardins. There you go. Desjardins. Cash Shadow. That's 1, 2, 3 more. 1 more. All right, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Congratulations, by the way.
I want whiskey to win.
Whiskey. I see ginger ale on there.
Oh.
Oh. That's no good. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
There we go.
True. This is why it's hard to do on a chat. There you go.
It's a great way to re-emphasize the point of the day, though.
Yes. This is why I don't usually show it. I have it in the background running, and I only mention it when somebody actually wins.
See, this is where the next time you do it, you just go and you choose the name that's the closest to it going up.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. Going up.
Yeah.
Pizza Ninja.
Ninja.
See, showing up late is not a problem. So there you go. That's all you. And we'll
Fantastic.
remove all that. And then one more prize from Cash Canada. And here we go. Spin the wheel. Boom. Boom, boom. Nope. JD on the rocks. No. Andreas Christensen. There you go. Congratulations, Christofferson. There we go. Awesome. Excellent. Boom. We're back. Sweet. Thank you. You're welcome. Awesome. Well, we've been on 1 hour and 44 minutes.
I'll set you
And
free.
yeah, it's been a great episode. It's been awesome. And I think everybody has enjoyed it immensely.
Good stuff.
And those
Well,
people that haven't joined us personally, then they can watch it another time and get so much out of it.
We play this game usually the text version on Facebook every couple of weeks, as most folks know. So on Facebook, it's Central Ontario Geocaches is the group.
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't a member, you can just ask the question so we know that you're not trying to sell sunglasses. And you can play along with prizes. And if you are online, again, you can find the Ontario Geocaching Policies Wiki if you're an Ontario cacher through connectingontariogeocaches.ca or centralontariogeocaches.com. But of course, a link and YouTube channel that they put there is for the general wiki, which means that wherever you are in the world, chances are your reviewer team has wiki entries. Some places may not, but a lot of them do. So take a look.
Cool.
They'll help you out. They'll make your reviewers happier if you're duly informed. And it's your feedback that helps the reviewers help you. So thank you for all you do for the game, folks.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. And who wants to win? Who wants a chance to win another Cacher's Corner store prize? I would say everybody that's still here would say, "Well, pick me, pick me." And I still have the Wheel of Names up there, so I'm just going to go ahead and we'll take away that. And Brian said, yeah, he's willing to add another prize. So here we go. This is for a Cacher's Corner store prize.
Is this for the car?
Yeah. Oh, and it's Cache Shadow. No.
No. That was a comment.
Yeah. And it's going to be true.
True.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. Isn't this fun? Get to spin the wheel. Boom, boom, boom. And it is. I have collapsible ladder. Nope, that doesn't work. Whoever said that be going, I said that! That's me. Say so. Oh, 0 of 200. Nope. We could be here all night. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Oh. There we go.
Hey, no.
Wait a minute.
Thank
Roger
you,
Sanderson.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Roger, awesome. He's always on talking on Facebook and Cache Canada and Cache the Line and everybody. And Cache the Shadow. Thank you, Roger, coming aboard. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you, Cache Shadow.
Very welcome. Thank you much indeed.
I think we'll have you on again, probably maybe sometime in January. I think we're full up through December. We have videos every single week. We have 2, and I have actually had one more video that I had room for, and it's going to be released tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So there you go. Yeah.
Make sure you watch that, folks. Subscribe.
Yep. Yeah. If you're not, please do. We love having you. And please list comments and give us a like button. That is so important in the algorithm for YouTube. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. I love these live chats, and I love having Roy here. I can't be on a cruise with him sharing a drink. I wish I could, but it's just isn't happening.
One day.
One day. One day again. I have to retire first, and hopefully that's coming soon. I hope so. And soon.
Awesome.
I have a big project on my plate right now, so I can't retire right now. I think that would be rather rude of me. So, thank you so much.
Right.
And we'll say goodbye to everybody, and we'll leave them with a song. And I will just bring that up. Thank you, everybody. We're really glad that you could come along. Thank you.
Have a good one.